Why everyone should learn speed reading. Fundamentals of reading speed. Reading is one of the most essential skills in life. Yet many of us never think about how we can improve it. After learning to read at school, we use it without thinking about or trying to get better at it. Most people read at the same pace all their lives. Without a little effort and some simple techniques, you could potentially double, triple, or even quadruple your reading speed. What is reading speed? What factors determine how fast we can read? How much can we improve? This chapter will break down the basics of reading speed. It will provide examples, stories, and practical insights that will help you begin to accelerate your reading pace and comprehension. What is the typical speed of an average reader? Reading speed is measured in words per minute, WPM. The average person reads at a speed of about 200 to 300 words per minute, which means they process roughly 3 to 5 words per second. How fast does a person talk? A fluent speaker of English usually speaks at around 150 to 200 words per minute. Generally, the reading speed is a little faster than how fast we speak. Most people have never been taught how to read faster and retain the information. Reading is often like speaking in our heads. This concept is known as subvocalization. This default approach limits reading speed for many. We will discuss this in more detail in a later chapter. David works in a corporate office. On average, David spends roughly 3 hours reading and responding to emails, proposals, and reports every day. If he reads at 250 WPM and needs to go through a dense report that's 15,000 words long, it will take him about 60 minutes to finish. Add to that his daily influx of emails, which easily exceed 5,000 words, and David is spending most his workday just reading. Like many of us, David is unaware that his reading speed is just average. He also doesn't realize that this speed is holding him back from being more efficient in his work. If David could increase his speed to 500 WPM, he would finish that same 15,000-word report in 30 minutes instead of an hour. This will effectively free up more time for other tasks. David could gain so much time if he triples or quadruples his reading speed. He could spend time on other valuable tasks. How much can your reading speed be improved? There's no hard limit to how much you can improve your reading speed. With consistent practice, you can increase your speed to at least 500 WPM. This is twice the typical average speed. Most people think this is not realistic. However, with the right techniques and a little regular, anyone can do it. Julie, a 23-year-old student, was overwhelmed by the sheer volume of reading material. From casebooks, legal briefs, scholarly articles, and endless amounts of notes. Her average reading speed was around 300 WPM. This is higher than average but is common for someone who is used to reading complex, academic texts. But with hours of reading every day, Julie found herself falling behind. She was alone. Her fellow classmates also struggled to keep up with the reading load. In desperation, Julie signed up for a speed reading course. She learned techniques to improve her visual span, reduce subvocalization, and avoid regression. To her surprise, her reading speed increased to over 600 WPM. With this newfound skill of speed reading, Julie was not only able to keep up with her reading, but she also started enjoying the process of learning more. She had more time to revise her notes, participate in discussions, and even take breaks. This is something she never imagined she'd be able to do in law school. People who practice speed reading techniques will see a significant improvement in their speed within a few weeks. There is no real limit to how fast you can learn to read. For example, Howard Berg, recognized as the fastest reader in the world, have achieved reading speeds as high as 25,000 words per minute. Though not everyone will reach those levels, most people can comfortably double or triple their speed with practice. How important are eye movements, visual span, and chunking? Speed reading doesn't just mean moving your eyes faster across the page. It requires retraining your eyes and brain to work together and process text more efficiently. How important are eye movements for speed reading? How do your eyes move while you read? How can you optimize these movements to read faster? Your eyes don't move smoothly along the text that you are reading like a camera panning over a landscape. Instead, your eyes make quick, jerky movements. These are known as saccades. In between these, your eyes stop momentarily to take in a chunk of information. These stops are called fixations. Each fixation lasts for about 250 to 300 milliseconds. In that time, your brain processes the information that your eyes have captured. Why do fixations slow you down? People tend to fixate on individual words, sometimes even parts of words, which slows down their reading speed. The typical reader makes 4 to 5 fixations per line of text, which means they're only processing a small portion of the line at any given moment. Normal reading is like walking through a park, and instead of looking around at the entire scene, you focus only on individual blades of grass. You'd miss all the trees, flowers, people, the benches, the pond. This is almost everything. You only notice the things you focus on and you blank out everything else that is there. Focus is a superpower that we all have, but it is also the thing that eliminates much of the useful information out there. Speed reading is like lifting your gaze to take in larger sections of the landscape. This is how your eyes work when you expand your visual span in speed reading. You stop fixating on individual words. You start seeing groups of words or even entire phrases at once. What is visual span and why is it important for speed reading? Visual span is the amount of text your eyes can process in a single fixation. Most people are limited to taking in a word or two at a time, which is 3 or 4 characters. This forces their eyes to make multiple fixations per line of text. Using the techniques in this book, you can expand your visual span to see up to 10 or more characters at once, allowing you to read multiple words in a single glance. Jack used to read his textbooks in the traditional way. He was fixating on each word individually. His reading speed was around 300 WPM. It would take him hours to go through a chapter of dense terminology. After practicing visual span exercises, Jack gradually expanded his range of vision to include 3 to 4 words per fixation. His reading speed increased to over 600 WPM, and his comprehension didn't suffer. In fact, it improved because he was no longer bogged down by reading individual words. Instead, he was processing entire concepts at a time. On one exercise, Jack said was drawing vertical lines down the page every 3 to 4 words with his pencil. He trained his eyes to jump between these lines rather than reading word by word. This practice became second nature over a time. Jack found himself reading entire passages quickly without losing meaning. How to practice speed reading? Speed reading requires practice. There's a common saying that practice makes perfect. Just like any other skill, the more you practice, the better and faster you'll become. However, speed reading isn't about rushing through text. It's about learning how to process information more efficiently. Anne Jones is a 6-time world champion speed reader who holds the record for reading 4,700 words per minute with 67% comprehension. She didn't start reading at this speed overnight. Her success came from years of diligent practice. Anne would set aside time each day to improve her reading speed, using techniques like visual span expansion and metronome training, setting a pace for her reading. Her journey shows that speed reading, while challenging, is a skill that can be cultivated with persistence. What are the steps to follow to start practice of speed reading? If you're ready to start improving your own reading speed, here are a few simple exercises to try. Using paces, use your finger or a pen as a pacer to guide your eyes across the page. This helps train your eyes to move more quickly and reduces unnecessary fixations. Chunking, instead of reading one word at a time, practice reading groups of words. Start with 2 words at a time and gradually increase to 3, 4, or more. Timed reading, set a timer for 1 minute and read as much as you can. Then, count how many words you read and calculate your WPM. Do this exercise daily and track your progress. How can you read faster and improve comprehension? You want to read faster but also improve comprehension. There is no point reading faster if you lose retention. One of the biggest myths surrounding speed reading is that faster reading means poorer comprehension. But this is only true if you're skimming or rushing through text without paying attention. Speed reading techniques are designed to improve both speed and comprehension. What is subvocalization? Why is it important? Subvocalization is the habit of hearing the words in your head as you read. While this may help with comprehension in some cases, It also limits your reading speed to how fast you can speak, which is about 150 to 200 WPM. Most people subvocalize without realizing it, but with practice, you can train yourself to stop. Instead of hearing each word, focus on visualizing the meaning of the words. Mark used to subvocalize heavily when reading long legal documents. He would mentally say each word, which slowed his reading down considerably. After learning to reduce his subvocalization through practice, Mark's reading speed increased to 500 WPM. He found that he was still able to comprehend and retain the information without the need to mentally hear each word. What is regression and how does it slow your reading speed? Regression is the habit of going back and rereading text, often because you weren't fully paying attention the first time. This not only slows you down but also disrupts your flow and understanding of the material. Speed reading techniques train you to move forward with confidence, trusting that you understand the material without needing to constantly backtrack. How to build a foundation. To recap the fundamentals of reading speed. The average speed for most people is 200 to 300 WPM. With practice, you can double or even triple your reading speed. Reducing fixations and expanding your visual span are key to speeding up. Speed reading techniques improve both speed and comprehension by reducing bad habits like subvocalization and regression. The basics of reading speed may seem simple at first, but with practice, they can lead to profound improvements in how you read and absorb information.